Next up in the NL West, we got the San Francisco Giants. They won 107 games last year. They only lost 55. So the old saying, you're going to win 60, you're going to lose 60. It depends what you do in the middle. Screw that. They only lost 55. They lost in the divisional series to the Dodgers. They are the Giants on a crazy call to end the series in a hard fought series. Jake, they lost some names. Like they lost some names, and people already thought it was kind of like a overachieving season. So I'm interested to see who they added.
Yeah, if this was like a balance sheet for a business, like the parts coming in and coming out, it almost feels like a zero. Although there's one thing that truly stands out: they lost Chris Bryant. Remember, they made the trade for him at the deadline. Kevin Gossman in his monster year, he gone. Donnie Barrels, my contact king, he's a Red. Johnny Cueto remains unsigned. A Dick, Alex Dickerson, he's a Brave now. Jose Quintana slinging it for your Pirates. They also lost Buster Posey, if you want to get in a good conversation online, the borderline Hall of Famer Buster Posey, who was a rock for that team last year and for the past decade plus. Buster Posey is gone. Who they added? Carlos Rodon. How about his monster year? Does he get a little bit of the Giants magic? Holy smokes. Brandon Belt comes back, took the qualifying offer and re-signed. He sneaky good. Look at those stats. DeScalfani. Oh, him and Alex Wood re-signed. Those guys can throw it. Alex Cobb, does he get some Giants magic? Speaking of magic, Jock Peterson, boing. He should be fun in the Bay Area. My goodness. Matt Boyd, Jimmy's Matt Boyd is part of the team. Carlos Martinez on a minor league deal. You guys were all waiting for that. So a lot in, a lot out. Buster Posey stands out to me, but this team can pitch, and it starts with the rotation, Trev.
This team can pitch. That's capital P, pitch. Logan Webb, did he come out of nowhere? Was this guy like a hot prospect that we just didn't know? Because he's filthy. Top of the rotation. Yeah, you bring in Carlos Rodon. I love him. I think they're going to do wonders for him up in San Francisco. They are where older players go to become young again. So we love that. Anthony DeScalfani is there. Alex Wood, Alex Cobb, Matt Boyd. Like you talked about, they brought in a lot of those guys. So the rotation is supplemented. There is a little bit of depth there. And the bullpen was excellent last year. Jake McGee, my guy, Camilo Doval, who is Jake, is that your breakout player of the year?
He's just my guy.
Okay. Tyler Rogers, Dominic Leone. Go check out what he did last year. Jarlin Garcia. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of guys too, but they know how to execute a bullpen plan. They have starters that can go deep in games. I mean, the rotation is there. And you know what? We talked a lot about how good they were pitching wise last year, but these fools bang last year too. James, tell me about it, bro.
Well, there's some new faces and there's some injuries going on right now. So you got Joey Bart at catcher. A lot of talk about him. Brandon Belt still doing the thing at first base. Tommy La Stella at second base. Brandon Crawford still there. Shortstop. Evan Longoria is supposed to be at third base, but he is out for now. Will be replaced by a combination of Wilmer Flores, Tyro Estrada to start the season. Lamont Wade Jr., late night Lamont. That was really fun. He's also injured, and Jock will probably get the starts in left field as he's on the IL. Steven Duggar in center field. Mike Yastrzemski in right field. And that if Jock moves to the outfield, that puts Darren Ruff at the DH spot. Otherwise, Ruff probably to the bench when late night Lamont's back. But those are two injuries that kind of stink off the bat. Two righty bats in late night and Evan Longoria on a team that's built on balance and putting a righty lefty lineup out there. They're really going to be leaning on, unless there's a move, Slater, Cairo, Flores to try and be the righties that hit lefties, or Yastrzemski to go back to being a guy that can hit both pitchers instead of last year. I believe he could not hit lefties and only righties.
I think you said late night is a righty. He is a lefty. they're going to get him back.
So just Longo on the right side then.
Okay, I'm looking. I wanted to check this out because I said they can bang. One of the reasons they banged was Brandon Belt, 160 OPS plus last year. Like that's a monster season. They were talking about how he's not going to be ready for spring training. He hadn't played a game yet. Well, he debuted yesterday in spring training, so he's back. That's a really welcome sign for Giants fans. And then after like kind of like gushing over the Padres roster here a little bit, I know these guys are up there in age, and that gives everyone hesitation. We've just been programmed to think about regression, age, da 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 da. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like this team a lot, and I was thinking I was going to like the Padres more, but this frequently happens on these dang episodes. I think I'm drinking the Giants Kool-Aid again. I don't know where my head is spinning right now.
It should be, because this is the year we find out.
Yeah,
this is the year we find out if last year was magic and it all came together and Gabe and man, Buster Posey. That's the thing I keep getting caught on, what he did last year from the catcher spot. 304, 390, 889 OPS in 113 games. Never mind what he did receiving wise and actually behind the plate with those pitchers and everything. That's the thing that's just got me so held up right now. And we're going to find out, sometimes we talked about the Dodgers being the Rays with a budget. Yes and no. I mean, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, those aren't Rays moves. Those are Dodgers moves. Like this is the year we find out if the Giants have some of that in the bag. And I think something that is impressive and stats don't fully calculate, whoever was in the game for them. Like, let me read some of these names for you. Duggar, Yastrzemski, Flores, Late Night Lamont, Darren Ruff, Slater. Those guys all had positive OPS pluses. Like, and we're talking about some of their, next options on the bench. I think that's very impactful that no matter day in, day out, when those guys played last year, there weren't any easy outs. There was no freebies. And I think that added up in this bowl of San Francisco Giants rice-a-roni last year that made this team absolutely brutal and have one of the best seasons we've seen in recent history. So I'm getting caught up on the Buster Posey part of it. And I can't get over it.
Well, credit to the coaching staff of the Giants.
Always.
And the decision-making. Their bench was amazing last year, Jake. Like you said, they had just depth. They led the league in pinch hit home runs, at least in the National League. I didn't check the American League because I'm guessing that it's the National League would do it. 18 pinch hit home runs from the San Francisco Giants last year. I checked all the other NL teams. I think the Rockies were second with 10. They had 10 different players hit a pinch hit home run or hit a home run as the pinch hitter. Maybe it happened in their second at bat as a pinch hitter, but still coming off the bench and performing. They had 51 RBIs in 346 at bats from the pinch hit spot. It just led the league. So I don't know if that's sustainable. Putting guys in the right spot and them coming through, it is very Rays like Trev says, where you're just like, they give you the confidence and they say you're going to do it. Austin Slater was a fantastic bench player for them last year. Coming in as a pinch hitter, he had a 1.148 OPS in 48 plate appearances, the 438 on base percentage. He had 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, but they just did it. I mean, Late Night Lamont came in. He had good numbers. Like the batting average as a team isn't there, but that's the most amount of home runs. So, and I'm going to guess the bullpen reads the same way, just kind of like putting guys in the correct spot to succeed. So you guys are right. It's this year. It's like, can they do it again? And if you're successful in those things and making the right calls and guys stepping up when they can, how much does that do for you if you don't have Buster Posey producing like he did?
You need
the other guys.
You need Joey Bart to step up. You just continuously need people to step up. And you referenced the Rays. This is obviously very much a Rays formula. Gabe, having spent time there, having spent time with the Dodgers, someone who really understands the importance of, if you're going to be put in the game, let's make sure you're coming into as much of an advantageous situation as possible. It's hard to do that, and it goes counterproductive with some other things we talk about on the show. Like James, you love a lineup that's set. I do too, but there's something to be said about
They kind of had one for righty and lefty.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more than that, and I believe teams should get a little bit more in depth. I never had this treatment, though I know guys that did. If there's a guy who I just suck against, I don't care how fucking hot I am at the plate. Get me out of the lineup and don't let me have a say in it. I think that's the kind of tone you have to set. Hey, dude, you don't see this guy well. It doesn't matter. Like, take the day, go eat some freaking ice cream on the bench and enjoy a big league baseball game. Then tomorrow come back where you're going to feel confident against this guy, because that one day where maybe you go up against that guy and he shatters your confidence, that's a snowball effect. And I think they really try to avoid doing things like that. I always remember Mike Moustakas. He would always sit against the tough lefties. He'd play against the ones that he could hit, but if he had bad numbers, he wasn't playing, and he knew it. Like he'd hit me up, hey, where we going tonight? I'm not playing tomorrow. And I think that really had an effect on his career. I think that keeps your confidence level up, and I think that's the way they think, and they always want to put their players in advantageous situations. I think Gabe has just done a really good job. And again, we'll reiterate, this is the truth year for the San Francisco Giants.
Their top 12 guys that got at bats last year, only one, Alex Dickerson, did not have an OPS plus of 100 or higher. Of their top 17 pitchers in innings pitched last year, 17, only one had an ERA plus below 100. Sorry, Sam Long. Like, again, it's everything we said. You either put it in the bucket, this coaching staff, this team, this organization has figured it out, or we are going to look back and say, like, man, when baseball makes sweet music, it's one of the prettiest things in the world. I don't know.
Last year when they needed a guy, they traded for Lamont in spring training or right before spring training. They traded for Tyro. They just purchased him from the Yankees or DFA'd him. They traded for Talkman. Do they have prospects coming up now? Like, will they lean more on prospects this year? Last year, they leaned on waiver wire trades and just picking guys up.
I mean, Joey Bart's the guy, right? He's the one that's circled. We saw him during the COVID season. Their big prospect, Marco Luciano, who's supposed to be a guy. He's still supposedly a year or two away. So, like, there's not immediate prospect help. I guess what it would be is, these are the San Francisco Giants. They have a budget. Like, if there's, we talked about them with Max Scherzer. We talked about them with a lot of big free agents. Like, if there is a money move that needs to be made or a big transaction, I do think they have that in their back pocket that not a lot of organizations do. So I think that's your best bet, because otherwise, I think it would be more veteran guys that they can take a chance on, like kind of like what we talked about with the Rays and motivating some veteran guys. I think that's their better angle.
Joey Bart going off in spring training.
JB. Their over-under is 85.5, less than the Padres, which was 88.5. I'm going to take the over. I want to believe in the pitching, and I want to believe in the pitching, and I want to believe in the decision making of the organization and putting guys in the right spot. Like, the bullpen is still really good, and they got Rodon, they got other guys, so I do think that I think that will hold up. Like, I don't think pitching can be a fluke, and I don't think the bullpen stuff is pretty volatile. But I'm banking on them having a big year, and being fired up that no one believes in them.
It's a tough one for me. I do also like the over, but I feel like I'm handing overs out like dang candy, bro.
How many overs does he have, BBD? I don't think you're that over heavy this year.
I'll look into it 1 second.
Yeah, look into that. I like the over. I believe in this team. I believe in the coaching staff. If I ask you this question, James, quick answer: this rotation or Padres rotation?
So I like Logan Webb better than anyone on the Padres.
Okay, fair.
I don't know if that's sacrilege, but just like his stuff and his his presence and his like what I saw last year was a guy who can like be top tier, especially those playoff starts.
I'm agreeing with you. I like this rotation better. I just kind of gushed over the depth of the Padres and how their ceiling is. I think this rotation has one of the highest floors of any rotation in baseball. Mix that with the bullpen. I like the mixing and matching. I hope they stay healthy. That's the only thing that can derail this team is health. I don't think we're going to see 107 wins again. That's okay. We don't need to see 107 wins again. I will take the over on 85.5. I think they're going to be neck and neck with the Padres. I think this is going to be a good division. I think they're all going to be the Padres and Giants in 89 to 91 wins.
I have them and the Padres flipped. Like I have the Padres at 85 and the Giants at 89 or whatever, you know? So
I was expecting their over-under to be like 88 as well. Like, you know, if you drink some Padres Kool-Aid, you can buy into them having a good year. 85.5 is just too low for what this team did and the pitching. Yeah, I mean, Logan Webb, the only thing you can say is like, let's see it for a second season. You know, that was obviously his breakout year. Rodon, you know, everyone
with
says
the playoffs, Jake, like that's almost the second season for me. Like the fact that he did it in the playoffs.
Jim, it's nothing about talent. It's zero about talent. It's more so putting that many innings on your body and running it back. Like, you know, we've talked about that before. Like what Logan Webb showed moxie wise and skill wise, there's no question there. It's just 162 is a long season. He kind of is the San Francisco Giants this year. Like, is he going to be a stud of all studs? Like, I don't know. I think there's a good chance of that, but seeing it for a full second year, I think that's important.
I mean, I like what you said about the postseason, James, but now that I think about it, it's like more time for hitters to catch up. I don't think he's just going to fall on his face. I don't think that at all, actually. I think he is or can be a bona fide ace in this league. He already has been. Can he do it again for the second year? I guess that's what we're asking. I love him. They speak so highly of him in that organization, so that tells me something too.
He's a stud. What do you got, BBs?
With one team left to go, Trev, you've given out 18 overs. Jake, you've also given out 18 overs.
It's too many overs.
It's not.
Well,
I think it's within an appropriate standard deviation. The next team has a high number. So
what's mine?
14. Or this might have been the 15th.
Oh, you're going straight up even. I love it, James. That's Vegas.
This was the 14th.
Balance. Yeah, it's the over. We'll see if Rodon, any of his injury stuff pops up. Teams were nervous of him. They end of season stuff. 85 is way too low. There's Camilo Doval, Tyler Rogers, McGee, everyone in that pen. Yeah, I mean, bet it. Like, bet it.
That's it.
Bet it.
Go Giants, go. Go Gabe Kapler, you stud.
Hot.
Zombie apocalypse comes. You can pick one manager to lead your group of people. I mean, you're going Gabe Kapler, right?
Bud Black.
No chance.
I don't think you take shit from zombies.
Oh, my God. I think zombies might eat Bud Black.
Torey Lovello and me go out with a glass in hand and say we had a good run.
Is there anybody even close to Gabe? Like Dave Roberts? Like I think
Shelton. He'd be a good zombie guy. Feels like he's got a beard.
Yeah, maybe.
He's probably got a shotgun somewhere. He just shoots him. Like I trust him with the gun immediately. Looks sight on scene. I trust.
Joe Madden would try to manipulate the situation to his advantage, and I wouldn't.
Joe Madden's the first one eaten.
Yeah, we take. I would take him out. All
the managers send Madden. Like, let's send Madden as our first sign of like to see how aggressive they are, not hoping he gets eaten.
Yeah, but he'd have something to hold against the town. Like he's smart, so he'll like, hey, if you kill me, then you're not going to know this code to the security thing. And he's good enough to stick around for a little bit, in my opinion. But Gabe's our guy.
Guy.